BRC2 Kids Art Assignment.
Welcome back to Houston Newsmakers and to Congressman Al Green, who's been representing the 9th Congressional District since 2005. Congressman, you've been on the front lines of getting help to your constituents through this COVID-19 crisis. The Small Business Administration seems to me is playing a big role. You hosted a webinar. What's the importance and priority of the SBA in helping getting our community back to normal?
Well, thank you very much. In fact, we've hosted 2 webinars, and we were able to work with the SBA. And I'd like to send a big shout out, if I may, to Mr. Winchester over there. He's the Deputy Director, and Mr. Jeffcoat, who is the Director. They were immensely helpful. This is important because we in Congress intended that some $350 billion get into small business to help with the cash flow and to be able to help workers to maintain their jobs. So we've done 2 things. We've added additional monies to what's called an EIDL program. This is where you can actually go in and borrow money at a very low interest rate. And that money that you borrow can be paid back over some long term, perhaps as much as 30 years. And this money, when you apply for it, will allow you to also apply for a grant. The grant can be up to $10,000, depending on the amount of your loan. And once that application is made for the grant, you will get that grant in 3 days. Now, it may be a little bit longer, but that's what the design of the program calls for. When you get that grant, if the loan that you applied for goes through, you keep the grant. If the loan you applied for doesn't go through, you keep the grant. Either way, the grant you can keep, which is up to $10,000. The second part of it is something called the Paycheck Protection Act. The paycheck protection piece of this allows us to give small businesses money so that they can retain their employees. This is very important, this paycheck protection program. In doing this, the people keep their jobs, they're able to pay their rent, take care of their homes, take care of their families. We want cash flowing through the system. These are the 2 programs that are designed to do it. Now, I would add this with reference to both of these programs. If you think you would like to participate in either program, you should apply. And you can contact the SBA here in Houston, Texas. And the good news is, if you're not eligible, you don't get hurt at all. Mm-hmm. If you are eligible, you can get a up to $10,000 grant that you can keep, even if you don't get the loan you're looking for, if you're the business person. And on the other side, if you're the business person with the Paycheck Protection Program, you'll actually have the opportunity to keep your employees, and that's important too. It keeps the turnover of money in society, which of course helps us all.
Congressman, that's about keeping the business sector healthy. The individuals, exactly. If they're not healthy, it doesn't really matter. Are you okay? Are you satisfied with the amount of testing and other kinds of things that are available to your constituents during this time?
Actually, I'm not. I just sent a letter to the the FEMA administrator, and it was co-signed by my colleagues Jackson Lee, Garcia, and Lizzie Fletcher, all of whom are congresspersons, of course. We sent this letter because FEMA has started now to remove employees from a couple of the testing sites, and 25% of the cash that is associated with those flights sites will be taken away as well. So this is something that's of great concern to us. I believe every person ought to be tested. Every person ought to be tested. This virus, the symptomatology of which is that it is asymptomatic. And because it's asymptomatic, we need to know who has it or when they have it so that we can plan a strategy for recovery. So I'm not pleased with what's happening, and I'm making a big push with the Democratic caucus. I mentioned this on a caucus call yesterday to make sure that we get FEMA to give us more time with the testing programs that we have here in Houston.
Speaker Pelosi has set up a committee now, an oversight committee, if you will, for the stimulus and also to look into government reaction to this. Yeah. Good idea. We've been getting pushback from people who say maybe now's not the time. Let's get through this crisis first before we start that.
No, it absolutely is a good time to do it. First of all, it's a deterrent. If people are aware that there is real-time oversight, I think they're less reluctant to make the kinds of mistakes that can cause one to perceive some sort of offense taking place that really isn't taking place. So it kind of protects the people who are going to be handling these large sums of money. Remember now, we're talking about $2 trillion, $2 trillion. So it makes sense to do this. I would encourage that we continue with the program. I think that it's very thoughtful. It gives us the opportunity to get a better sense of what's happening in real time so that we can even do the after action inspection in a better way.
Congressman Green, we're going to continue our conversation on Newsmakers Extra. We've got a lot to talk about. It's going to be on click2houston.com. So I want everybody to join us on that webpage and get the rest of this conversation, because we always have good, exciting stuff to talk about. Don't we, Congressman?
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
All right. So coronavirus is impacting many areas of our society, including our nonprofit organizations. This week, a look at Camp for All and Easter Seals, two organizations devoted to those with physical and mental limitations. That's next.